everyone, welcome back to Gaming the System. This is another bonus round. This time we are doing our top 8 best bosses in video games. These are the ones that, I've noticed so much recently that bosses are just cut and paste things. You just stick them in to be you give it a load of health and you go, ooh, it's a big boss. Ooh, it's just get in the way to slow you down. But the best bosses are the ones that have a real story behind them. You have what the thing that makes a good fight is the world before it and the world after it, and how has that changed. That's how I like to measure sometimes a really good boss. So to start us off, Alex, what's your one?
Okay, I'm going to kick off with a classic from the original Tomb Raider. It's a very iconic boss, and I'm sure you already know what it is. And it's the T-Rex, which you find in, I think it's in the Peru level, which is quite early on. They redid it, obviously, for Tomb Raider Anniversary, made it look a bit more shiny and put in some quick time events. But it's the classic Tomb Raider that I'll always remember. You could feel this sort of vibration, well, not really. At the time you wouldn't, but imagining it in your head, you could hear the stomping of the T-Rex coming from afar and the ground was shaking. And then suddenly you realised there was this huge dinosaur and you had to fight it in the middle of this valley. And it was quite scary, I remember at the time. But when you kill it, eventually you're just like, oh God, why are there dinosaurs here? And then you start questioning that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just absolutely iconic. From the first Tomb Raider, and always a fun but difficult fight.
God, just maybe what you just said then was that reminding me of that feeling of when you see a boss and you go, whoa.
Yeah. You realise you're going to have to fight it. You're like, okay, now it's got real.
Being surprised and innovative. And I never played the original Tomb Raider. I can imagine the first time you go, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go next. Caroline, have you got the drive open?
Yeah, but I can't share screens as easily on here, but I can figure that out. What picture would you like me to bring up?
There's a Guardian Ape, number 1.
Ooh.
So I'm currently replaying the game Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is made by the same guy who made Dark Souls, and it is just flawless. It's got some of the best combat ever. It's so absolutely incredible, and the way Hidetaka Miyazaki creates stories is he creates this incredible world, and then the story is told through the world. Absolutely amazing. So this is the Guardian Ape, and this is one of the toughest bosses. And you can see straight away it looks incredible, and it takes place in this massive reservoir. And it leaps around and is so unpredictable and so aggressive and rage-filled. And the story behind it is you're the person who helps your mechanical arm. He fought this monster with his lover a long time ago, and it killed his mother, his lover. And I think that's her sword that is in its neck. And that sent him mad, basically, and turned him into this rage-filled monster. And now his penance is he carves Buddhas. But when you carve a Buddha, the way the Buddha comes out is a reflection of your karma. And so his karma is so damaged that he can only carve wrath-filled Buddha, which is awesome. And can you show the second Guardian Ape picture? So start off, that's an awesome boss fight, and then you kill it and it falls to the ground. You think you kill it by you jump up and you take that massive sword and you twist it around so its head comes off, and then you go, because that was one of the toughest fights. And then this happens. Perfect timing. You've cut its head off, and then it goes and picks its head up, picks up the massive sword that it's in its neck, and comes after you again. And the reason that is because there's the waters of Ashina, which is this place, are infected with a centipede, like that gives you eternal life, but you rot. It's sort of a perversion of immortality. That's why it stays alive. And that was a long spiel, but I'm just so in love with this game at the minute. It's incredible. So that's my one. Caroline, would you like to go next?
Yeah. So I am, as you know, playing Dragon Age Origins again, and basically, main reason I'm doing this is to get back to the final boss fight, where you take down the Archdemon right at the end of the game. The Archdemon is a big old dragon, basically, but that doesn't really do it justice. And that boss fight has a really strong memory in my mind, which was, so it's the first summer after I was my first year as a teacher. It just was the start of the summer holidays, and I just sat down with my Xbox and started playing Dragon Age Origins and didn't really stop. And the boss fight for that, I got to the final boss, and it was like midnight. I was like, come on. And I'm a better gamer than I was then, and I've still never been the most skilled fighter in any games. And so I was like, right, I'm not going to bed until this is done. And it was 6 a.m. 6 a.m. is when I managed to finally defeat the Archdemon. And it took me all night, and I stayed up all night because I was going to defeat this Archdemon. And it's an epic battle. Like, there's armies everywhere. You're controlling so many people. There's huge scenery. There's a dragon. It's just the most epic battle that I've ever been involved in. So that is my ultimate boss fight.
Oh, I want to play, because the Dragon Age and Mass Effect are basically two sides of the same coin. It's like Warhammer and Warhammer 40k, and they were so awesome. I want to play them all again, but I haven't got the mental fortitude to make that many decisions about life and death for so many people. I don't know how to do it at the minute, so I need to wait. And thinking them they're like mountains, because they're such a massive 3-game commitment. Maybe I'll wait until I'm retired and like 70 and I've forgotten all of it. Well, hopefully 90. Then I've forgotten all of it. We'll see. Alex, would you like to go next?
Jem, have you done you have?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did the dinosaur. Sorry, Jem.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Lich King in World of Warcraft, the online game. Just because I think I spent many hours trying to kill him in our 25-person raid group, and we were one of the top raiding guilds on our server back in the day, and I was the main tank. I was a druid, and I was in my bear form. I used to tank, and it was a really long and intense fight. And most of them were, but this guy, the Lich King, was the end boss of the Wrath of the Lich King version of World of Warcraft, and it was awesome fighting him, actually, because he really was really powerful and looked really scary and fought really well, and it was a really fun fight with many layers. And I mean, I was just having a look to remind myself, because it's been years since I did it, and there's like multiple phases to the fight, and you had to really focus, and it would take sort of like half an hour to actually fight him until death. And when you've got 25 people connected from all over Europe, and everyone having to do their bit, and it would be a case of like, oh no, so-and-so's gone offline, what are we going to do? And so it was just a really good, we were all on TeamSpeak. I don't even know if that's around anymore. And lots of instructions being shouted out and things. So it was a really, not only is the character really cool, and I was quite sad actually, because when I looked into World of Warcraft recently, somebody comes along and kicks his ass, and I was like, yeah, that's just not fair, because he was like the biggest bad and then suddenly he's not. And it was like, I just didn't believe that anyone could come along and kick the Lich King's ass, except for a very, very talented group of raiders that I was involved with. So,
Have you seen the South Park episode about World of Warcraft?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
They capture it perfectly.
I would not entirely agree.
Oh, they're all men.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure
they capture that. That captures the stereotype.
Yeah.
So number 5, I will take this one. I've got some photo of that as well, Caroline, if you can get one of them up. It's Sahelanthropus from Metal Gear Solid 5. The Phantom Pain. This is the titular Metal Gear of the game, and it is stunning. It's one of Hideo Kojima's best bosses, in my opinion. It's this massive walking tank that is designed to be a portable nuclear weapons carrier, and it's incredibly fast. It's incredibly powerful. It's got a sword, a massive sword it can pull out. It's got like heat-seeking bombs that it throws out. It's got a flamethrower as a penis that I don't know if you can see there.
It's an interesting choice.
Yeah, and grenades and everything, and you have to hide from it. You have to fight it. It's got this massive fuck off laser cannon, incredible, and like it's gradually revealed to you as the game goes on until finally you go, "Roar," and you go, fuck, just like the dinosaur. Yeah, so that's my number 5. Caroline, what would be yours?
Mine would. So I can't obviously do two things at once and think at the same time. Mine would be, I'm in a Zelda place at the moment. Okay, look, this is very much where I am these days, and I'm going to go with Puppet Ganon from Wind Waker. So Wind Waker is probably my favourite Zelda, which makes me not very cool amongst obsessive Zelda fans. Well, it depends. Like, there's a very split. There's the sort of people who are like, oh, Wind Waker's too cartoony and childish, blah, blah, blah. And then there's the people who realise that Wind Waker is one of the most genius games ever. And I'm very much in the second camp. I love Wind Waker. You're on a boat. You're always on a boat. You're just going around finding islands, talking to fish to get them to fill in your map. It's the best game ever. I actually had a friend who played it like about 50% through without realizing you were meant to talk to the fish to get them to fill in your map, and how he did it, like, because you don't have a map if you don't do it. Anyway, but Puppet Ganon is just one of those, like, Zelda boss fights tend to be very staged. You're always in a nice big auditorium. But what I love about this boss fight is the way that you get to use the tools. You get to use your cool boomerang, and you've just got this puppet version of terrifying boss Ganon. He's a silly puppet version, and it's cutting strings. It's constantly just get your ass down from the ceiling, hit him in the face. And I don't know, it's just I had to choose a boss from Wind Waker because I love all the bosses in Wind Waker. And there's something about that fight that is so satisfying. Because again, as you say, Matt, it's one of those where they keep coming back. They keep coming back bigger and stronger. And you're like, oh, it's like another fight. It's another fight. And it's just like defeating Puppet Ganon is just one of the most satisfying things. But mostly I just wanted to say how good Wind Waker is. Okay.
I hate the games where you kill them once and you go, that felt a bit easy. They're back.
It's the horror film thing of like, he's never really dead.
Okay, Jem, what would yours be?
So I am going to go back in time again. I have played some new games recently. but I'm actually going to talk about, we were having a discussion about this before we started recording, so but I'm going to talk about Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. So we thought it was Chainsaw Man, but it's not, it's Nemesis, right. Because so I played, I think I played the first 3 Resident Evils, but back in the day when they originally came out on the PS1, and Nemesis was my nemesis, and it is in the game, because he basically just keeps tipping up and you never know when he's going to arrive, and it's always in those calm moments where you think like, oh, I've just done this thing, I've got a few minutes to explore and go and get this thing, and then you'd go round the corner and he'd be there, start like this, and I just and he just gets more and more scary as the game goes on, and just really frustrating. And I have a vague memory of being on a train and running up and down this train trying to kill him, and it, you know, towards the end of the game it gets to the point where only rocket launchers will work against him because he's so rock, and you know, it's just horrible. And I think for me he will always be the probably one of the most hardcore bosses that I've experienced. Saying that, I am on my way to, I think, probably the end scenes in Resident Evil Village, so I may change my mind when I finish that game, but I am at the moment putting off playing it because I'm too scared of dying. So and I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to have to start from the beginning just to learn how to use all the guns again. so yeah, Nemesis.
I'd be so excited to compare notes on Village. Alex, number 8.
Okay, well, I guess most people would describe my choice as a mini boss, and it's from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and it's when you go to a very early level planet called Bogano, and the boss in that planet is Octobogdo, the bane of my life. And he's like a little toad kind of like creature he's got like a chameleon tongue, and it comes out and attacks you and things. And you go into the cave and there's a nice shiny at the other end of the cave, and you're like, oh, I want that shiny. And you go in and think, oh, this will be easy. It's just a little toad. No, it's not. It's not easy. And then every time you die, you lose all of your XP. It's kind of like that Dark Souls mechanic where you have to go and pick up your souls again. Same thing happens in Jedi Fallen Order, except it's with all your XP. So you have to go back and grab it. But of course, if you die in the wrong corner of the cave, you have to try and get past Bogdo to get to your XP, and then get out and escape before he can completely kill you again immediately. So many an hour was spent going back in just for the XP and being like, I'm going to escape this time. I can get out. And then eventually I returned when I was appropriately over-leveled, as I do like to be in these games. And I killed him, and I was happy, and it was all good. And but he's a tricky blighter, is Octobogdo. You think it's easy, but it's not. So even though it's a mini-boss, I'd say it's probably one of the hardest bosses in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
I started off with Jedi Fallen Order being a little bit disappointed, but it had one of the best lines of writing, which really encapsulates, because it starts off, you think, oh, the Jedi are the best, but they're actually really like preachy, and thinking it's saying, oh, you should just don't be angry. Whereas what you should do to get to peace is you need to explore your anger and then come to the conclusion that you want to be peaceful. But then the Sith go, we've got all this power and all these emotions, and we want to live as our true selves. And then a lot of the main enemies in Jedi Fallen Order are Jedi-like younglings who were captured and then converted to the Sith, and you're fighting one of them. And you're, of course, your young Jedi being all idealistic, and your enemy says you didn't endure the loneliness, the torture, the isolation. And you go, well, then of course you'd be furious with the Jedi because they didn't protect you. And that, a fabulous bit of writing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the story generally. I'm really looking forward to whatever the upcoming sequel will be, hopefully.
I love just lightsabers are the coolest thing ever.
I know they are.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of our top 8 best bosses bonus round. So as usual, please like and comment, because that's the best way for YouTube to go, oh, actually, these guys are awesome. We'll share them with as many people as possible. And also please share and subscribe, because that helps us as well. We'll see you every Thursday at 7 p.m. as usual. See you soon. Oh. We hope you enjoyed that episode of Gaming the System. If you want to support us, you can donate to us through our PayPal by sending it to wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com if you want to send us a one-off donation. If you want to donate to us monthly, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem. Until next time, bye-bye.